was in China as Ghana's deputy head of mission when COVID-19 surfaced in 2019. He was instrumental in supporting Ghanaians, especially students who panicked as many were dying of the viral infection. He also was a key figure in dealing with the Chinese government on behalf of the Republic of Ghana, having obtained his doctorate degree and lived in that country with his family. Dr. Charles Dwamena, known popularly as Dr. China, is back in Ghana after his mission in China to live and support the development of the country. We have at some point hosted him virtually from his base in Beijing, but today he joins us in the studio as we discuss his experiences in China as a diplomat dealing with the government and people of China, and of course helping out with the COVID-19 situation there. What key lessons can Ghana take from China, which is now an economic superpower? Dr. Charles Dwamena, ni hao ma?
How
do I respond? Goodness me. Good to see you back home.
Good to be back home, yeah.
Doc, you schooled in China, right?
I did, yeah.
How was the experience like?
Well, I mean, greetings to our cherished viewers. I mean, for starters, given our educational system here, we are free to, express ourselves and, sometimes offer opposing ideas to our teachers, and our teachers would take time to explain to us. So going to China, it was a totally different thing. I mean, given their cultural beliefs, when you do that, it's assumed that you are sort of opposing authority and all that. So it's one of the shocks one would get whenever one gets there. But by and large, we went through. We did a lot of practical training and stuff like that. And we were able to get to the bottom of it. So at the end of the day, we managed to solve it. Living
in China, schooling there, is there a particular lifestyle in China that you think can boost our expectancy, knowing very well that, I mean, the Chinese people usually live very long?
Well, yes. I believe that the ultimate is for one to be one's own keeper as far as health matters are concerned. That is something the Chinese system is designed in such a way that they continuously drum it in the minds of people. So if you're a student, you're encouraged, don't just be studying, be active, engage in sporting activities, engage in extracurricular activities. If you're a worker, be active. I mean, just before I came, I visited one of the major banks, Bank of China, and exactly during break time, all staff were asked, get off your desk, walk around, do this, do that. So these are things that form part of the society and in effect enhance one's lifestyle.
They eat a lot of greens and a lot of raw stuff. That's why they've been blamed for bringing us COVID.
Well, you could in a way say that they explore a lot when it comes to their dietary requirements and all that. But again, the cities in the coastal belt are different from those in the middle belt and then the western section, because the coastal belt, mainly they eat seafood and all that. But ultimately, as I stated earlier on, they make you believe that you are your own keeper. Be a keeper of your health. No one, not even the doctors, can save you. You do what you have to do and you reduce the frequency that you'll be presenting yourself to the hospital.
And talking about COVID, I mean, it's top of the agenda now. I think we should deal with it and get it out of our way. But how did it all start, especially with a lot of Ghanaians who panicked and wanted to come home? I mean, we spoke with a couple of them who said, a number of them, not a couple, who said the government of Ghana should come and, bring them a rescue mission, bring them back home and all that.
Yeah, I mean, as we speak, honestly, the origin of COVID is not known. I mean, there have been reports here and there.
It's not from Wuhan?
Well, it was detected in Wuhan. That is a fact. But as to whether it was a lab leak or from a natural cause, we really don't have concrete evidence. When you look at what has really transpired from December 2019, when it was first identified, to January 30th, when the WHO declared it a public health emergency of international importance, and then to March when it was declared a pandemic, all the sequence of events point to the fact that indeed some evidence point to the fact that there is a possible lab leak. Some also point to the fact that it's of a natural cause. And when you look at successive reports from even the United States government, when in March 2020, the US intelligence community conducted an investigation, they came out saying that it is possible it has not been genetically modified. So it's the issue of it being a lab leak becomes quite slim. And then you look at the WHO report that was released after the investigation this year. They also pointed to the fact that indeed it's a zoonotic, condition that emanated from a natural cause. So there are, counter evidences, piece of evidence here and there pointing to the fact that it may be a deliberate thing or it may be a natural disaster. Nobody knows. But I think ultimately the important thing is for us to focus more on how we can get our people out of this pandemic, how we can protect lives, how we can safeguard national economies. And in our case, when the thing struck in China, we were able to mobilize people. We had a fantastic head of mission, the Ambassador Edward Boateng, and the team there, the Foreign Service official, everyone played a key role in reaching out to the students. We made sure that we sort of got into their minds, calmed them down, because in situations like this, you'll be very worried. Parents were very worried, guardians, everybody was worried, but your ability to calm nerves down, to reassure people that, hey, let's be calm, we will get through it, would really make the difference. And indeed, the Ghana mission in Beijing exhibited that, and government of Ghana also supported largely. Individuals like Honorable Kennedy Ejapon also supported. We airlifted food supplies to China, and we were able to go through by and large. All
right. So, of course, we've dealt with that bit. Now we are in a third wave, and we're struggling to deal with that. With the experience that you have, how would you advise that we deal with our problem here back home in Ghana?
I think the key thing really for me is that we should be our own keeper.
Okay.
The health experts cannot guarantee your safety. The law enforcement agents cannot guarantee your safety. So if there are enough laws in the country, put on your nose masks, do this, do that, and you decide to flout them, you are jeopardizing your own safety. Okay. And that is the key difference. Other people are following the laws religiously. Others are also not believing the fact that we really are in some danger of a sort. But if we are to take our own lives into our hands and be our own keepers, we would ensure that whatever we do, we put the measures ahead, and then we follow them religiously. Just simply ensuring social distancing would go a long way in getting this thing controlled, because we still do not have a cure and we do not know the origin. So
we've been struggling to get vaccines for the population, and of course it does appear that we would have to wait a lot more longer to get the vaccines, and which health experts say is the surest way to at least minimize the infections and also people who will be hospitalized. At the government level, how do we approach this?
I think in our case, Government of Ghana under the leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been very proactive. Our minister and all the other stakeholders have been very, very proactive. When you look at how we've approached this issue, the frantic efforts that have been put in place to secure vaccines, our vaccine chain, the delivery chain, everything has been so far so good, if I would put it. And I believe that government can do its bit. It is important for the citizenry to also support government. If the government is doing everything it can and the citizens are not in support, it becomes a big challenge. So we need to do everything possible to ensure that we are able to coordinate our efforts. Citizens are able to uphold the laws and regulations, be in your mask, enforce social distancing, go for the vaccine if you've not vaccinated, And
where are the vaccines?
well, I mean, government is doing its bit to bring whatever it can, and then it's a continuous process. I mean, you wouldn't have just even in the advanced economies. I mean, when you look at the time vaccines were outlawed, and now you would expect that countries like Germany and could have 100% vaccination. But no, Germany is just around 55%. They have done very well, but I mean, that's to let you know that it isn't easy a task to vaccinate an entire process. So if our government is also doing its best, we should also support government so we can get to the herd immunity that we also desire.
Let's talk about your experience in China as deputy head of our mission. What experiences, I mean, can you share with us?
Well, it's just like talking about all that happened in China during the 4-year term. But to summarize it, as I indicated earlier on, we had a very fantastic team in China, headed by the ambassador, Edward Boateng, an astute businessman, and then the foreign service officers, Macarius, Sylvester, and co. These are all experienced people in their respective field. So everyone brought his or her experience to bear. In our day-to-day activities, we always ensure that the interest of Ghana was held first and was prioritized. And that culminated in a lot of pluses for us. I mean, as a country, we've been able to move our level of engagement with the Chinese from where we took over in 2017 to the current stage, which is very high. I mean, Ghana currently is one of the top 5 countries the Chinese engage with. Okay. And these are, in diplomatic terms, very significant, achievements as far as country-to-country interactions are concerned. And that also has translated into real benefits to the people, because we have a lot of people-to-people exchanges that has resulted in technology transfer. I remember before we went to China, we had a lot of engagement and encouraged people, look, whatever you do or whatever you go to import from China, start thinking of getting the technology in Ghana so you do it here. A lot of people have bought into the idea, and that has resulted in so many people setting up factories and industries and so on and so forth. And that's the way to go, really. And I believe we'll go far with that. So,
of course, the lessons also from China that I believe we can emulate. China is today one of the world's biggest economy. What lessons can we take in order to better our economy, to better infrastructure, even the way we relate to people?
Just before I came, there was an interesting thing in the Chinese system, and I think that as a country, we should begin thinking along the lines of developing all round. All round in the sense that not all of us can be in the offices, not all of us can be in the banks. Some will necessarily have to be the technical people, the field people, and so on and so forth. If as a society we begin according these people or these categories of people the same amount of respect we accord those in the banks, we will begin to change the narrative. And once we do that, we would have an all-round development as a country. That is what the Chinese is doing. As we speak now, from next month, the Chinese are going to cancel extra classes for kids. Okay. The simple reason being that they think, in their opinion, that kids doing extra classes is becoming inimical to the state, because some kids naturally have, IQ levels that are for technical education, others are for the mainstream university and all that. But by having the extra curriculum activity, by having extra classes, and for them it is back-to-back, intensive one, you are able to sort of hide the IQ, the person qualifies to go into the university, but not necessarily with an interest in that. So if they do not take care, they realize that after a few years, they will have very few technical people, and that will affect the economy. That is being proactive. And I think our government is doing so. When you look at the government of His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, a lot of investment is being made in the COVID and technical training. That's the way to go. Whilst we are looking at the traditional university style of education, we should also look at the technical aspect, so we develop in a well-rounded fashion and move forward as a country.
Well, all we can say is well done I mean, very good job done. Now that you're back in Ghana, what next? I asked you that, right? The last time.
Well, first of all, I think it's been an awesome experience contributing to national development. Now that I'm back, it isn't going to be any different. I believe that an MPP government has the ability to transform the fortunes of Ghana. However, for an MPP government to be able to transfer the fortunes of Ghana, an MPP government must stay in power continuously for at least 4 consecutive terms. That requires a stronger party. And given my finance background and political financing experience, I think the best way of making the party stronger or the MPP stronger is to improve upon its treasury management. So yes, going forward, I'll be looking at how best I can support the party in its treasury management so as to make the party stronger. And by that, we'll be able to stay in power to contribute to national.
So you're back as a party man. You were Director of Administration, right?
Yes, I was Director of Finance and Administration during the campaign period.
Okay.
Then went to, it was an awesome experience there too, streamlining party activities at the headquarters, finance and administrative matters, and more or less rallying the people behind the common agenda so we'll be able to prosecute the agenda. And indeed, we did so by winning the 2016 general elections.
Dr. Charles Dwamena, a.k.a. Dr. China. Thanks so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
And we wish you well
as
you come back home to support a good cause.
Thank you.
And that was Dr. Dwamena speaking to us on the Pulse, and he's been talking about China. Just a quick one. What's the situation in China right now?
There is a slight increase in the cases. I guess they're also experiencing their third wave of a sort. But again, the people are very, very concerned about it, and everybody is strictly adhering to the COVID-19 protocol. So we are doing same here. I believe we should also adhere to it more rigorously, and then we'll be able to overcome any potential disastrous condition.
I'm happy that you joined us this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aisha,
for coming.